Good evening, I'm Susan Bonner, and this is The National. The U.S. takes steps to punish North Korea for testing an H-bomb.
His nuclear threats show that he is begging for war.
Chris Brown explains why this could leave Russia sitting pretty. A Toronto imam caught up in fake news that slanders Muslims.
The whole thing is bizarre.
Special seatbelts could save babies' lives. Go Public finds out why a pilot project fizzled.
It's one of the biggest pushbacks from the airlines.
Plus, drones challenge choppers for a slice of the movie business. Washington's ambassador to the UN says war is never what the U.S. wants. But as the president ramps up his rhetoric in response to North Korea's latest nuclear test, will cooler heads on the world stage be able to stop it? Today, at the United Nations, there was more talk of stronger sanctions and more diplomacy to try to end Kim Jong-un's saber-rattling, even as it appeared North Korea was preparing for yet another missile test. Ellen Morrow begins our coverage from Washington.
A sense of déjà vu as the UN Security Council held another emergency meeting on North Korea.
The stakes could not be higher. The urgency is now.
Today's meeting comes one day after Kim Jong-un once again defied the international community, with North Korea conducting its most powerful nuclear test to date. That move triggering calls for yet more sanctions, along with renewed threats of even harsher action if Kim does not change course.
His abusive use of missiles and his nuclear threats show that he is begging for war. War is never something the United States wants. We don't want it now. But our country's patience is not unlimited.
In response to the North, South Korea held its own military drills today, a simulated attack on North Korea's nuclear site. The South Korean president also spoke to President Trump. In a statement, the White House said the leaders agreed to strengthen their joint military capabilities. President Trump agreed in principle with the South Korean plan to lift weight restrictions on the weapons carried by the country's missiles. Trump also conditionally approved the purchase of many billions of dollars worth of military equipment by South Korea from the United States. Those moves will likely anger Russia and China. While they condemn North Korea's actions, they're also pushing for a so-called freeze for freeze, agreeing that North Korea should back away from its weapons program, but that the U.S. and South Korea should also stop their military drills. This was the U.S. response.
When a rogue regime has a nuclear weapon and an ICBM pointed at you, you do not take steps to lower your guard. No one would do that. We certainly won't.
North Korea is showing no sign of backing down either. And there are reports that North Korea is preparing for yet another missile test, the kind of missile capable of hitting North America. Meanwhile, Nikki Haley says that in the coming week, the U.S. will push for a vote on even tougher UN sanctions against the country. Ellen Morrow, CBC News, Washington.
Haley also stated today that Washington considers any country doing business with North Korea as contributing to its nuclear intentions. Veiled warnings, perhaps, to China and Russia. But as Chris Brown tells us, some in Moscow are making it clear they see Donald Trump as the biggest impediment to peaceful resolution.
The Russian talk show host probably spoke for a lot of people here when he said every time that North Korean TV announcer is on the screen, he gets freaked out. It's like the missiles are already on their way, he says. The tense showdown has spooked North Korea's neighbors, including Russia, where some border residents actually felt the shaking from the latest nuclear test. In Russia's Kremlin-friendly media, most of the blame for the brinkmanship is heaped in the United States. Popular host Dmitry Kiselov told his audience it's actually the U.S. that's the destabilizing factor. President Trump has made so many threats that to not start a war would mean a loss of face, he said, and Kisilov slammed what he called the president's short-sightedness by insulting countries such as China and Russia that could help. Following North Korea's latest nuclear test, President Vladimir Putin wrote on his website, "The Korean Peninsula is balancing on the verge of a large-scale conflict." The Korean crisis overshadowed what was supposed to be an economic summit today in Xiamen involving both China and Russia, where the Chinese reacted angrily to the U.S. president's musings about not trading with any country doing business in North Korea. China is Pyongyang's biggest trading partner. At the UN, China, which has so far backed repeated resolutions against North Korea, has not said they will support the latest U.S. call for yet more economic sanctions on North Korea. In Russia, though, there appears to be little interest in that. The message from the Kremlin is sanctions have failed, and it's time the U.S. started direct talks. While China remains a neighbor with the greatest influence on North Korea, Russia has been trying to increase its prominence and reputation as the crisis has escalated. Russian officials claim whereas the U.S. has used threats and bluster, they've emphasized diplomacy. Chris Brown, CBC News, Moscow.
For the first time in 10 days, the U.S. Coast Guard did not have to make any rescues in Texas. In fact, it's beginning to move on, sending helicopters to Florida and Puerto Rico ahead of the next major threat. Hurricane Irma is now a Category 4 storm barreling towards the Caribbean. Meanwhile, in Texas, the destruction is still being tallied. Officials say at least 60 people were killed by the storm. More than 50,000 displaced people are now in hotel rooms. But there is some progress near this plant where trailers full of chemicals were burning. Residents are finally being allowed back into their homes, and Houston's mayor says 95% of his city is dry. But as our Aaron Collins found out, for the other 5%, it's a slow climb back to normal.
Harvey hasn't quite left Houston yet. This highway into downtown from the city's west side looks more like a swimming pool. Nearby Traviata Street remains underwater. But even before the floodwaters recede here, the cleanup has begun.
It would rain in bursts, and the water would come up almost in the house and then recede, come up almost in the house and then recede again. And it did that about 8 times. And the stress of watching that, hoping and praying that it's not going to come into your house, it eats you up.
In the end, it wasn't the rain that caused this mess. Water from an overtaxed reservoir is to blame. Housing developments have paved over the fields here that could have helped drain this water.
The amount of cement that has gone up, especially on the west side of town. You know, the Katy area in the west part of Houston is just outrageous.
Now, Harvey caused billions of dollars in damage in neighborhoods like this across Texas, and contractors are already rolling in.
This is bad. There's people, water still in their house, and until the water goes down, we can't do anything but, be there for them.
You're going to be busy.
We are.
Now, Houston's mayor has promised that this street, this entire city, will be back to normal in a year. A Texas-sized job, but doable.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but some of these people, the neighbors come in, and man, as long as we can get the material, I think we can do it.
And most of Houston is dry now, and even on this street, some, like this transplanted Canadian, dodged a bullet.
You can see here where this paint chip is. That was where the water stopped at my doorstep.
Most of his neighbors weren't so lucky. Still, the mood here remains stubbornly high for now.
Everybody's in good spirits. It'll be curious the coming weeks. That's going to really tell the story.
Most here don't have flood insurance. Many can't afford to pay for these repairs. So while the storm is long gone, the true costs of it loom ahead. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Houston.
So can cities be built better to withstand this kind of disaster? We'll put that to an urban planning expert in about 10 minutes. In an era of fake news, disaster zones like Houston can be a profitable place to spread misinformation. Something an Ontario imam has been dealing with all weekend. And thousands of kilometers away from Texas, he's setting the record straight. Stephanie Skandaris has that story.
It was supposed to be a spiritual journey to Mecca, and that's where we reached Ibrahim Hindi, whose cell phone won't stop beeping.
It was surreal. Like, I woke up and all of a sudden people were tagging me in about this article that had my picture in it.
That article was posted by a website called The Last Line of Defense. It claimed a Houston mosque was closing its doors to Christians and Jews, and it featured a photo of Hindi plucked from YouTube. Not only is the entire story fake, Hindi says he's never even been to Texas, but he says he couldn't ignore this.
Security is a big concern for me at the mosque, at my home, with my family, with my children.
Hindi says as an imam, he regularly sees people from his community dealing with anti-Muslim hate crimes, and this kind of article could make things worse.
It shouldn't be about me personally. It's about this bigger problem of these misinformation being spread, of trying to pit communities against each other, of trying to inflame prejudice.
But the website says the post is no expression of hate and that people should have known it was fake because of a disclaimer that says it's a satirical publication. Experts say there could still be consequences.
Very clearly, this is libelous. It does say somewhere on the website that it is satire, but it doesn't identify that on the piece.
So why risk a lawsuit? Those who study fake news say it's all about the cash.
These fake news websites are actively financially motivated. Essentially what happens when you click on a story is you're bombarded by all kinds of ads, and this is bringing in really good money for a lot of them.
Lidovenko says currently Houston is a popular target for false stories.
From insurance scams to people sharing fake photos, and what it does is it gets in the way of the stream of legitimate information.
Hindi says he hopes people focus on the real news about Muslims in Houston.
I had people messaging me saying, like, hey, I was in Houston. I saw all of the mosques open their doors.
Stephanie Skandaris, CBC News, Toronto.
Coming up, they followed an old trade route to break new ground in reconciliation.
Feeling of gratitude, respect, honor.
Plus those sweeping shots that make a movie soar. There's new competition to get them. Fire crews in Los Angeles say they've brought the largest fire in the city's history under control, but they're still working to contain it completely.
Fire operations are not over. There's still a lot of work to be done.
The fire started on Friday in the hills north of downtown LA. 1,400 people were forced from their homes, but those evacuation orders have now been lifted. 4 buildings burned down. Time-lapse video has captured an aggressive wildfire in the Kootenay region of British Columbia. Hundreds of properties near Cranbrook were put under evacuation order this weekend. There are about 160 fires still burning across the province. And fueling those fires, hot and dry conditions. That's been the weather story for weeks in Western Canada, but certainly not the case elsewhere in the country. Cameron McIntosh takes a look at why this was a summer of extremes and what lies ahead for fall.
It was a sign of things to come. Canada Day in Ottawa, a rainy affair.
I sold out of ponchos by 7:30 this morning.
Just days later, the Calgary Stampede sweltered under oppressive heat and record dryness.
We walk them, we water them, we walk them, and we keep doing that until they're completely cooled out.
Stark examples of the east-west divide that has climatologists calling this summer the season of extremes.
Well, I think it's the contrast between west and east that I think is most remarkable about the summer.
The explanation is in the jet stream, the waving ribbon of air over Canada that divides warm and cold. This summer, it curved high around the west and low and wet into the east.
That's why the west had so little weather. It was just hot and dry for so long. And here in the east, the jet stream, instead of being north of Hudson Bay, was really over Ottawa and or over southern Ontario.
The result, record moisture in Ottawa and other parts of Ontario and Quebec, causing flooding and crop losses.
You can't stay here.
while record dryness in the west has made for an intense forest fire season. In fact, it's BC's worst ever. Tens of thousands of people have had to flee their homes. Costs are now approaching $500 million.
We never thought we'd ever see anything like this.
If there was a place to be, it was in the middle. Manitoba recorded one of its most pleasant summers in recent memory. And as fall approaches, that could be true for most of the country.
Compared to normal falls, we think that overall across Canada, it'll be pretty nice.
Whether it was too dry or too wet or just right, there's a sure thing about summer in Canada. It goes fast. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Kensington Palace announced today that Will and Kate, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, are expecting their third child.
Congratulations, Joe. Kid having a baby.
The news got a thumbs up from Prince Harry. Like her last two pregnancies, Kate is suffering from severe morning sickness and had to cancel several engagements. Will and Kate's new baby will be fifth in line to the throne after 4-year-old George and 2-year-old Charlotte. It's sort of right up there with the question of why there are no seatbelts on school buses. Why are there no seatbelts for babies on airplanes? Transport Canada has known about the dangers of simply holding a baby in your lap during a flight for decades, and there has actually been a fatality in Canada directly connected to the lack of baby restraints. Go Public's Rosa Marcatelli has more.
This crash landing in 2012 is a sad example of what can happen. 6-month-old Isaac Andy Apakuk from Nunavut was killed. Like all babies, he was traveling on his mother's lap. The adult passengers, wearing seatbelts, had minor injuries. According to the investigation that followed, the infant was expelled from his mother's arms and later found next to the captain's rudder pedals. The Transportation Safety Board recommended Transport Canada work with industry to develop age and size-appropriate child restraint systems and make them mandatory. That hasn't happened.
I remember the news story about a little boy that died being held in his parents' arms from turbulence, and that stuck with me.
Toronto mom Susan Muscovich tries taking matters into her own hands by bringing a Transport Canada-approved child seatbelt on flights with her 2-year-old daughter.
The red belt goes around the back of the airplane seat, so you have...
3 times flight attendants told her she couldn't use it.
It's mind-boggling.
Transport Canada doesn't track how many small children 2 and above with their own seats have been hurt. It lumps them in with adults. We do know since 2001, 6 babies have been injured when they were thrown from their parents' laps. This is what can happen to a baby during turbulence or a crash. And according to Transport Canada's own advisory, small children using adult-sized seat belts could suffer severe internal injuries if that belt slips in an emergency.
Go Public found information dating back to 1979, warning babies and small children should not be allowed to fly as they still are today. In 1993, Transport Canada even took the step of hiring a company to design a child seatbelt that would work on all airplanes. That prototype made it to the final stages, but then the idea just disappeared. Transport Canada won't say why. Recently, it again looked at the issue, doing what it calls a risk assessment, but abandoned that too, stating there were more pressing priorities.
We're required to restrain coffee pots in the galley for takeoff and landing and for turbulence, but we're not required to restrain infants.
Barbara Dunn advises airlines and Transport Canada on safety issues. She says a stumbling block is figuring out the economics. One Transport Canada estimate puts the cost at more than $10 million a year for airlines. The other problem, Dunn says, is finding a restraining device that's approved for all airplanes in and outside the country.
It's one of the biggest pushbacks from the airlines themselves. They want to know that if something is certified in Canada, it's going to be usable everywhere else in the world.
Transport Canada tells us it's now doing an in-depth examination of the issue that should be complete this fall, followed by public and industry consultations. It's encouraging parents to buy a separate seat for babies on flights and bring their own approved child seats for any child under the age of 7. Air Canada and WestJet say they're just following Transport Canada's rules. Rosa Marcatelli, CBC News, Calgary.
Canada has lost a strong voice for press freedom, and some of us here at the CBC have lost a friend. Arnold Amber was a longtime CBC News producer, admired for the work that won him 3 Gemini Awards. But he's also remembered as the founder of what is now known as Canadian Journalists for Free Expression. He traveled the world extensively, training broadcasters and journalists in emerging democracies. Perhaps most notably, he helped South Africans to cover that country's first democratic elections in 1994. Arnold Amber died this morning in Toronto at the age of 77. There's still much more ahead on The National. Stay with us.
Mr. Drew's successor on the first ballot, John Diefenbaker, MP for Prince Albert, Saskatchewan.
There are no words for the highest honor that you can confer on a member of this party. Mr. Robert Stanfield.
We're going to leave here a united party that has had some differences, but which is now determined to get on with the job. Thank you very much.
Mr. Clark.
1,187 votes.
We will not take this nation by storm, by stealth, or by surprise. We will win it by work.
Brian Mulroney is the new leader of the Progressive Conservative Party.
Ensemble, but together, we're going to build a brand new party and a brand new country. Thank you all.
As expected, second ballot win for Kim Campbell. It has been clear for the last hour and a half. The hugs, the kisses, the emotion for the winner.
You have honored me by your trust, and I return it with my complete commitment to you to lead this party in a great direction.
Well, there you go. You've got the convention floor hug.
There you go.
The shaking of hands.
We'll work together to build this party.
I look forward to it.
All right. We are now on a journey together. The road to success starts with all of us in this hall.
Stephen Harper accepting his first ballot victory. Cheers from his supporters as he goes down.
As Houston begins to rebuild after historic floods, one crucial question stands out. Can this devastation be prevented from happening again? Harvey dropped a record amount of rain, but some wonder if the result had to be so bad. Houston is the largest U.S. city with no official zoning laws. It's also one of the fastest growing. For years, experts warned this meant trouble.
Just the amount of urban development in the past few years has been phenomenal. So that means, you've got roads, you've got pavement, the water cannot get away.
By building over a vast network of prairies and wetlands, Houston created a massive drainage problem.
We've covered our sponge up. The sponge that we had here was wonderful.
The effects of climate change have laid that bare. Fixing the problem could take a dramatic change in how cities are built and whose interests they serve. For more on this, I'm joined by Jim Schwab. He is an urban planning consultant and former manager of the American Planning Association's Hazards Planning Center. He's in Chicago. Mr. Schwab, so much rebuilding will now take place in Houston. What should happen this time that has not happened up until now?
We have to ask some tough questions. One of the tough questions has to do with the role of climate change and anticipating some of the kinds of impacts that we can expect to see in the future. Harvey is perhaps just a harbinger of some of the kinds of things that are going to be happening on a number of coastal communities. And we need to find ways to integrate the impacts of climate change, the projections of climate change, into the planning process for our community.
And how difficult has it been to convince residents and local officials, politicians, to enact the kind of change that is needed? There's still a reluctance on some levels to even discuss climate change.
Yes, a lot depends on where you're at. There are parts of the country where there's an acceptance that this is real, this is something that we have to deal with. There is a good deal of incorporation of these issues in New York City, for example, even going into Sandy as well as after Sandy. On the other hand, it must be said, Houston 3 times in the last 20 years has rejected zoning and referendums. It's a very difficult issue to advance. The drainage, our stormwater drainage systems in almost any city in North America would have trouble with 52 inches, but it's even more problematic when you've allowed a lot of those natural systems to be degraded.
Would you advise Houston now to change completely the way it rebuilds and not allow development along those floodplains? Yeah, in a response to Harvey, which is only a week old, obviously, we've seen a number of heroes responding to helping their neighbors, that sort of thing, and that's great. But as we move to the recovery phase, we're going to need also some other kinds of heroes that I would call public policy champions, who are going to have to be willing to ask those hard questions. Can we sustain this kind of land use pattern in a city that is vulnerable to hurricanes that can dump 50 inches of rain? Are we willing to look at zoning? Are we willing to re-examine subdivision regulations? Are we willing to implement plans for various kinds of what we could call green infrastructure, preserving those natural systems like wetlands and floodplain areas and so forth, and urban tree canopies even? Mr. Schwab, important discussions ahead. Thank you very much.
Sure.
And up next, we'll take you through a summer of discontent.
I think that the leadership has shown a blatant disregard for the reality by pretending that everything is still okay.
The inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls has gone through months of drama. We'll bring you up to speed.
What a paddle.
Plus, they set off on an adventure in the name of reconciliation.
This is sodium silicofluoride, photographed in Brantford, where fluoridation has been used since 1945. It is said to be able to reduce tooth decay by 60%. At this moment, almost 32 million people in North America are drinking fluoridated water.
Now, Dr. Dunn, is it true or false that sodium fluoride is a basic ingredient in rat poison?
I think it's fair to say that sodium fluoride is contained in a rat poison, and I think it's also fair to say that it's contained in tea.
There are no deleterious effects to the human being drinking fluoridated water.
Anne Burton, president of Ontario's Citizens' Rights Association, has been campaigning against water fluoridation for over 20 years.
I'm just amazed that the general public can believe that you can treat the human body through the water supply, using the water supply as the vehicle to carry that treatment for a disease like tooth decay, which is neither waterborne nor contagious.
Water fluoridation is an issue that's been debated repeatedly. Some people think it's time to take another look at it.
What I'm concerned about is that if we're using fluoride from so many different sources, now we may be overexposing the body to the amounts of fluoride and eventually ending up probably with mottled teeth.
You have a very nice bite.
Those patches are called fluorosis, a condition that shocks many parents because of the cause. Too much fluoride when Braden was a preschooler.
We don't really know just how much fluoride it takes to cause a little fluorosis. And it's something we didn't really know too much about 10 years ago.
Another cavity.
It's well known that fluoride helps prevent tooth decay. But there's a growing awareness that Canadian children may be getting too much fluoride from too many sources.
Well, it's like anything. You can have too much of a good thing.
Fluoridated water still remains the most equitable, most economic way of providing a preventive agent for dental caries to the general population.
Practically all major health organizations in North America have endorsed fluoridation as an effective and safe way to reduce dental decay.
Hockey broadcast.
Hello, Canada and hockey fans in the United States.
At the time, I was doing work as a reporter. Basil Lake, the radio editor of the Star, came up to me and said, "You have another job tonight. You're going to broadcast the hockey game." Apparently they had canvassed the entire sports department to get somebody to do it, and for some reason or other, no one was available.
Hockey night in Canada. Tonight, Toronto Maple Leafs and New York Rangers. Play-by-play by Foster Hewitt.
Out at center, 1-0 for the Toronto Maple Leafs over the New York Rangers as Nesterenko fires a shot from well out.
I think hockey is the greatest game there is. It's basically excitement. There's bodily contact, there's danger, not to the viewer, but to the participant. But it has about everything that helps to create a thrill in the minds of the spectator.
That's Ward taken. Ward against close. Here's Wetterlight, and he shoots, he scores! Broadcasting has been my life. It's given me the opportunity to travel all over our country and to meet some very wonderful people. I get a kick out of going west every year, visiting small localities. You meet all types, and they speak to you as if they've known you all their lives. This is a real big thrill, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. Hello, Canada and hockey fans in the United States. We're at the 8-minute mark. There's no score. There's a shot. Goal! And right in on the net as a drive from the left side by Nesterenko slid in off Sawchuk's skate.
Labor Day is a turning point for many Canadians. Back to school, back to work, and for some, a return to paying close attention to the news. This week, we're running a special series to get you up to speed on major stories that kept developing through the summer. First up, the inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. It was a major Liberal promise in the last election, meant to give comfort and closure to the families of countless victims. But good intentions gave way to months of turmoil. In late spring, the inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls held a hearing in Whitehorse, part of its commitment to give family members a safe place in which to tell their stories.
We identified Mary through our family pictures with the morgue pictures. At least we knew where she ended up.
I grew up an only child, often wondering why my mother was not around.
Some 1,200 Indigenous women and girls have been murdered or gone missing since 1980. And for their families, this national inquiry was a hard-won victory.
I'm her voice. She can't speak for herself anymore. So I want them to know what the effects and what happens.
Yet 9 months into a 28-month process, the Whitehorse event was just the first set of hearings, leading to a widely held concern.
This is a process that no one should be rushing. We need to ensure this is done properly.
We're going to need some more time to get our work done in the way that we need to do it.
Great Spirit.
There were much deeper concerns than that. Advocacy groups and some families were critical of the way the inquiry was being run.
Many of their criticisms have centered around lack of communication, lack of information, lack of supports to attend any of these events, and a real lack of voice in all of this.
Around the time of those first hearings in Whitehorse, a respected former First Nations leader and father of the current Justice Minister let loose on social media. This wasn't just a communications issue. The inquiry was facing a crisis of legitimacy. The federal government believed the Whitehorse hearings might have helped quell those concerns.
Well, I think that people felt it turned a corner at Whitehorse. Yes. I think that the fact that the families felt listened to and that there seemed to be a real empathetic approach.
But over the summer, things took a turn for the worse. The biggest blow came in mid-July when one of the 5 commissioners did in fact quit. Marilyn Poitras said she could no longer serve the process the way it was designed.
My main concern is that this commission is going down a tried road. We've been studied, we've been researched, we've gone and looked at Indians and half-breeds and Inuit people for a long time to see what's the problem. You tell us your sad story and we'll figure out what to do with you, and we're headed down that same path. And if it worked, we would all be so fixed and healthy by now.
I think that resignation is extremely significant. It's saying this isn't just a staff issue. You know, we're not just having some growing pains in terms of people working for the commission, that there are fundamental and core flaws with the inquiry such that she didn't want to be affiliated with it anymore. She didn't want to cause more harm to the families.
After this, the calls for the lead commissioner to resign grew louder.
I have no intention of resigning. This is important work that we've already started, that we have planned for the future, and we intend to continue for the sake of the families and survivors.
The pressure intensified. In late July, the Assembly of First Nations voted on a measure demanding resignations of the remaining commissioners.
You failed in communications. You failed to build trust. You failed to build relationships with families.
But most First Nations leaders voted against that so-called hard reset.
More than 6% is not in favor.
And in favor of staying the course.
That inquiry is occupied by Indigenous commissioners, and I don't think we should be calling on the federal government to fix it.
Some people have some concerns around a reset of the inquiry. Some of the families in the north are worried that maybe their testimony will be deleted, or maybe there'll be no inquiry at all.
In August, inquiry leaders posted a reset document of their own, promising to work with families on the issues that were causing friction. And they stressed the inquiry was looking into the critical issue of policing.
I think that the leadership has shown a blatant disregard for the reality by pretending that everything is still okay. And it's clearly not okay.
For those who despair for the fate of the inquiry, recent history may offer some hope.
We have excellent precedent, and you'll recall that one didn't get started off so well either.
The well-received Residential Schools Truth and Reconciliation Commission did call for a reset before finding its footing.
And I am grateful that there are things that are going to be done about this now.
Late last month, during a cabinet shuffle, Prime Minister Trudeau's government split the Indigenous Affairs portfolio into two departments. Trudeau promised it won't impact the inquiry.
The missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls inquiry is actually the responsibility of the Prime Minister's office, the Privy Council office, and it remains.
It's not just the country's leaders who can bring about reconciliation. Up next, Canadians pull together on a long canoe trip. Their destination, a deeper understanding.
The television show that challenges all comers is still doing just that, 30 years on. Front Page Challenge is entering its 30th year of broadcasting in Canada. And last night, at a glittering reception in Ottawa, they remembered and they celebrated those memorable years. Dan Bjarnason has prepared this report.
Few Canadian institutions have lasted as long as Front Page Challenge. And to become more popular year after year is something to be envied.
That's the opinion of one viewer at least, expressed over a decade ago. And now, after 30 years on the air, the show's more of an institution than ever.
Tonight on Front Page Challenge.
Hammered out in 1957 in a producer's living room as a summer fill-in, and in a business where programs fight for breath and often die after a few weeks, Front Page Challenge is one of the most successful TV shows in history. The program developed the look of a miniature history of the 20th century. There was the silly...
let's not talk about diamonds. That's a dull subject.
Let's not talk about diamonds.
Let me talk to you about your ex-husband, George Sanders. Are you still friends with him? Every time you speak about him...
Let's talk about diamonds.
There was the profound...
my whole Christian background had a great deal to do with my coming to this conclusion that love and nonviolence should be the regulating ideals in any struggle for human dignity.
Perhaps the show's chief drawing card was, until his death, an endearing scamp, Gordon Sinclair.
Did the personal event happening to you cause you to feel happy or joy or euphoric? Oop.
No euphoric. There wasn't an ounce of euphoric in it.
On occasion, the panel goofed on the obvious.
Well, let's see what's left. Mumbly peg, I guess that they don't do that anymore. Is this a sport where you run around? Is it boxing by any chance?
No.
No. Swimming.
Not once in 4 appearances did they manage to guess
Gordy Howe.
Hooray! One of the original moderators 30 years ago, Alec Barris, today is the program's writer. He recalls some early disasters, such as Winston Churchill's son, Randolph.
Who was sort of 9 sheets in the wind by the time he got to the studio. Went to the wrong studio first, and when he finally got to the right studio, he insisted that somebody go out and get him a bottle of whiskey, which he killed before the show, and he didn't even need it.
Then there was the defecting Russian diplomat, Igor Gazanko.
And then when he came in, he insisted that he had to have his voice muffled so it wouldn't be recognizable. B, he had to wear the hood over his face so he wouldn't be recognized. But the funny part came in when he saw that Fred Davis was in the makeup room getting makeup on. He insisted he had to have makeup on too, even though he was going to wear the hood.
It's hard to imagine now, but the critics panned the show opening night 30 years ago. A corpse, they called it. A long 30 minutes. The critics were wrong. Last night, the taping of a 1-hour birthday spectacular. Critics had also predicted that Front Page Challenge wouldn't last after Gordon Sinclair. The critics were wrong again. Dan Bjarnason, CBC News, Ottawa.
I think after what they did to the student residents, that was awful. But we got to live again.
We're about to take you on a remarkable journey, one that was also quite unlikely. It brought together an Indigenous group with a tragic backstory and members of the religion responsible for decades of pain. The group began a month-long canoe trip, and as Havard Gould shows us, paddling put them on a path towards a bigger goal.
I felt there was a calling for me to do this trip. I feel a great sense of honor, especially to be following my ancestors' routes.
There's something magical when you get into a canoe with a team of people. There's something that just bonds people together around that paddling together, that being in sync with one another. This kind of magic that brings people together.
The journey begins not on water,
So I invite you to give thanks.
but at the Jesuits' Martyr Shrine in Midland, Ontario.
Black flies will teach you. The moose and the skunks will teach you. You will teach each other.
The idea of a canoe trip to promote reconciliation was this man's. Eric Sorensen, a Jesuit priest in training who has spent the last 2 years planning the expedition. The idea came to him when he learned of the Jesuits' residential schools near Spanish Ontario, where Indigenous children were sent after they were taken from their families. Forcibly separated from both culture and loved ones, often neglected or abused, many died. The consequences still echo through generations. Paul Jacques from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, signed up for the trip because, he says, his heart told him to. He describes himself as a non-status Indian, a man wanting to explore both the past and the future.
I hope to learn a lot more through our trip, and I think just the fact that they're putting on such a great voyage is an amazing starting point for continuing the process of reconciliation.
It's not going to be all rainbows and sunshine the whole trip, that's for sure. I know we're going to experience our share of rainy days and black flies, and it's about pulling through that together, and I think those experiences will hopefully only make us stronger as a group.
Magazekwe Indigenous, we offer you this tobacco for the life and health of our people.
The pre-launch ceremonies by the river, like the Mass, are solemn, respectful. The eagerness to begin this unusual adventure contained. Until the launch. The massive 26-foot canoes go in the water.
Good. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to be in the stern.
The details and adjustments seem endless, but they set off. Retracing a traditional trade route from central Ontario to Montreal. 850 kilometers, less than a month to do it. Much of the route covering territory from which children were taken and sent to residential schools run by the Jesuits. Jesuits passed this way before on a similar trip. In 1967, 24 paddled the same route, a celebration marking Canada's centennial. This trip has a very different purpose and different paddlers. It's just a few days in, but already Eric and the group are learning what it takes to work together.
Okay, rock right here. Yeah, it's very like, oh my God, it's right here. Which way, Rennie?
Are we going to follow them?
Follow the red canoe?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This is really shallow here. That's it, that's good. Follow that one.
They could have traded notes.
Definitely very physically challenging, but I've felt that the group and myself have felt a little bit of a rhythm developing. To feel that rhythm in the group pulling through that was great.
Anthony, a little bit chillier or what?
I think the group's doing well, and we're starting to get to know each other on a kind of a deeper level and have some of those deeper conversations.
North facing is this way, so it's straight.
Paul is embracing his role as navigator.
Being the navigator of our trip, it's been tasking at times, but definitely empowering. I'm definitely pushing my limits, I would say.
Too much risk ahead. Yeah.
What's the weather like tomorrow?
Checking. 26-kilometer-an-hour winds, 42 gusts.
So we're
it's getting worse tomorrow.
Well, we can't safely paddle today, so
there's way too much inexperience for waters like this out here.
The weather's so bad, the water's so rough on this day.
Okay, nice and easy, really slippery rocks here.
They decide it's too dangerous to continue.
What a paddle.
When we catch up with them, there's exhaustion and relief.
Felt good to finally get in after the crazy weather yesterday. We got stranded on an island. Hit some about 6 and 8 foot rollers out in the Georgian Bay and had to launch a little rescue mission to come get us.
But no matter the distance traveled, every day they make progress.
You finish that and then
The growing camaraderie is proof.
Yeah. 75.
75-year-old Winston McKay, a Cree from Saskatchewan, has blisters on his hands, but a smile on his face.
I'm seeing the good side of these people that are doing it.
Winston saves our buns all the time. When we get in rough shape, he says, this is what we got to do.
I think after what they did to the student residents, that was awful. But we got to live again. We can't sit back and worry about the past. We got to move ahead.
Her dad worked at the residential school as a janitor.
No one here thinks a month's paddling can overcome suffering that goes back centuries. And the conversations on this night
delve deeply into the past.
So every year, at the beginning of September, there was silence in the community because there were no more kids. Can you imagine what that did to the parents?
Sister Eva Solomon, an Ojibwe from Northern Ontario, devotes most of her time to reconciliation, traveling the country to lecture and lead workshops.
What do you have any sense of what reconciliation is for you?
Knowing the truth.
Yes.
Dialogue.
Yes.
Forgiveness.
Yes.
And it's a measure of how much they are coming together that they can also share laughter too.
I just would like to ask you to invite you to think in terms of the water and how we have reconciled with the water, even from yesterday.
I learned from Eva that it's the cycle. You reconcile, then you reconcile again, and you go a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper. And so in some ways, this might be one cycle of reconciliation for the paddlers on this trip.
Paddle hard, guys, paddle hard.
Pulling together. More than any kind of verbal dialogue, that it's in some ways a simple, just experiencing the elements together, experiencing that challenge together of having to paddle in those conditions.
Do the same thing and ferry over. No money have I none, yet shall I be merry, faithful, nobody home, no food.
26 days later, their voices drifting in song across the water.
Good job.
Yay! They reach the end, Montreal.
Thank you. A sense of relief that everyone arrived safe and sound. A certain sadness of being done and having to go back to my regular life, back to my studies. But I think above all, there's a sense of joy at the accomplishment of what's gone on in the last 26 days.
I feel amazing. There's a sense of accomplishment there now, and I feel there's a bunch of feelings that come to mind. The feeling of gratitude, respect, honor.
Reconciliation, the ultimate destination, feeling just a little closer. Howard Gould, CBC News.
And coming up, Hollywood props and costumes on the auction block. You'll know some of these for sure. Plus, drones go to the movies.
I'm Anna Maria Tremonti. Tomorrow on The Current, to start our new season-long project, Adaptation, we look at how one city is taking a proactive approach to dealing with extreme weather events due to climate change. That's on The Current, weekdays at 8:30 on CBC Radio 1.
It's about catching up, letting go, and growing up. Happy. Because it's the first day of school and I'm nervous. What's the best part of school? You know what I like One thing is universal this first day. Shiny clean faces, new school outfits. First day they look so good. And they're back to normal. For some, the trek is like going into a frozen yard. Completely barbed wire. It's a morning ritual that begins every school day. But there was a difference today. Moms and dads kept the watchful eye from the back of the grade 1 room as their kids settled into desks and got to know the new teacher. If you thought it was just the kids who get first day jitters, think again. Butterflies, all the excitement, who's going to be their teacher, who their new road friends are going to be. And how do the kids feel about being back? I love it. How good? Because I've been waiting to go back to school. Gee, it's good to get back to school, isn't it? No,
What don't you like about school? You don't like it. How about the teachers? What about the others?
As I'm in the classroom doing work, I got all my work right, and then recess time, then we were playing, then we made my teacher's picture.
Everything is new the first day of school. Where you sit, how everything works.
It says bonjour. What do you say? Bonjour. Bon matin, Madame Rambo.
Day filled with new information. It's a terribly exciting day.
Madame Rambo.
Don't you like anything about school? You know, every year they're a little smarter and a little more worldly, but you still sometimes root for them sort of be that little kid.
I was the wrestling champion of the world.
And he's the best in the world at what he does.
Until I lost it all.
You got fired from wrestling, right?
Now I'm starting over and I'm free at last! And I'm gonna be the greatest actor of all time. I want to study the craft of acting.
If I can get you waiting tables, you'll really be an actor.
Agent is a jackass.
Let's see what you got.
Prepare for glory!
Told you he has brain damage.
No, I don't have brain damage. But I'm Chris Jericho.
Some pretty famous pieces of movie history are being auctioned right now. You can get Marty McFly's shoes from Back to the Future 2, starting at $20,000. Indiana Jones's whip, that's at least 40 grand. And if that's too rich for your blood, go for the purple three-piece Jack Nicholson wore as the Joker. Bidding starts there, around $16,000. From making money off movies to saving money creating them, drones are helping filmmakers drastically cut costs while dramatically changing the way they can shoot. But that's parking some long-standing jobs in the industry. The CBC's Hayden Waters explains.
Dramatic, breathtaking aerial shots. The best way to get them used to be by helicopter. But lately, the mighty flying machine has hit some turbulence. Enter the drone. The once tiny toy has done a lot of growing up.
When we get the opportunity to show these people, their eyes just light up.
It can go places and get shots the helicopter can't. And it's a lot cheaper. Chris Basic has flown drones for Hollywood movies and hit TV shows like Orphan Black and The Handmaid's Tale.
Finally, there's been this tipping point in the last 12 months or so now where we are shooting twice a week, and now we've kind of become profitable and things are just escalating.
That's costing Canada's small pool of film pilots. Drones have even driven some of them out of work.
How many total hours do you have now? Do you remember offhand?
I think the logbook is about 13,800 hours in the air.
Jim Filippone and his wife Wendy flew helicopters for over 30 years. They worked on the X-Men movies, Tron Legacy, and many more. You can even see him in the opening for the old CBC show Danger Bay. But with the rise of drones, business crashed, pushing them into retirement.
We'd call up people, production managers, and say, you know, hey, do you have any aerials on the show? I'm thinking, oh yeah, because every time they say yes, we would have a job, they'd hire us. But they'd say, oh yeah, we have an aerial, but we're using a drone.
The helicopter does have advantages. It can fly a lot faster, longer, and higher, and get those striking big city and mountain shots. That's how Chris Chanda, who has lost business to drones, is staying airborne.
From our side of the fence, we think they're a great tool, but they're certainly not capable of the full-on production value that we can provide with this.
Still, there's no doubt that these guys have made a dent. And as the technology gets better, some experts say won't be long before drones can do what helicopters can, edging the helicopter out of the film business even further. Hayden Waters, CBC News, Toronto.
And that's the National for this Monday night. For news at any hour, you can always go to cbcnews.ca. I'm Susan Bonner. Good night.